Okay, so recording. Okay, there you are. Finally got you to act right. So, welcome to Innovision FM. This is Johnny J, and our topic is going to be an interesting topic today. And okay, I want to know how many seconds we're going. Innovision is a nonprofit organization. We work with physically challenged disabled musical artists to teach them the business of music. We do this with online classes, one-on-one, booking them for concerts, and we can also book you as a grassroots artist for concerts as well. Send us an email at info@innovisionfm.com. That's info@innovisionfm.com. Well, today's topic is impeachment, since that's on the mind of some people, not everybody, but it's on the mind of some people. And so I was looking in that and noticing that there's been only 4 presidents that have been impeached. And it seems to be like, when one party is mad about what another party is doing, and they want to discount the republic that we have. Now, also, I keep hearing mostly Democrats and the left-wing news media say that we are a democracy. America is not a democracy. We are a republic. One nation under God, republic. If you just read our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, okay? And you'll see that it doesn't say democracy, it says republic, all right? And for you who are in school, I know you're being dumbed down by the left-wing Democratic school system, but that's doing it because I guess we need more workers. So if we educate you to be smarter than the generation that was previous before you, that doesn't serve their dictatorial mindset, because the left-wing Democrats, they feel that they can run your life better than you can run your own life. And that's what it is really about on the left-wing radical Democratic side, is they feel they can run your life better than you can run your life. They can protect you. They can be your daddy. They can they know the laws that and rules that will protect you. And and we need to take all your guns away. We'll keep our guns, but we'll take all your guns away. And if you get out of order, we'll take out our guns and we'll put you back in order. All right? And if you don't believe me, look at Venezuela. 6 years ago, the government took away all their guns, and so when they wanted to rise up, they had the military, and the people had their rocks and sticks. All right, see how fair that fight would have been. So, and as I said before I get into the topic of impeachment, as I said, a democracy compared to what a republic is like 2 wolves and 1 lamb deciding what's for lunch. That's a democracy where the majority rules. A republic is where even the little guy has a say in the elections through the electoral college. And I see here in Colorado, Polis and his crew of merry men are trying to change that, where we go along with the popular vote of California and New York, instead of being a republic using the electorate, which will make our smaller cities, our rural cities, and our inner cities just as much of the voting population. All right, now let's get into this impeachment thing. And I think it was around 1869 or so, right after, I guess, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Andrew Jackson became president, and unfortunately, his wife was, which I like. I guess women did this a long time ago. I don't know if they do it today. Not many women in America maybe do this today. If you are one of those women, hey, my hat is off to you. But he was born in a log cabin, didn't have much education. He met his wife, and she helped him to learn how to read, helped him to learn how to, do his math better. Then through her help, he bought some slaves, some black boys, right? And he acquired, some land. And because of her help, he got into politics and became a landowner. And back in those days, you can only become a president if you were a landowner. That was one of the qualifications. And of course, they eventually say, you have to be at least 35 years old, because back then people died really young, like around 55 years old, 40, 45, 55 years old, all right? So, they have to say, well, if they lived to be 35 years old, that meant that they lived long enough to know something, right? It's not like today where people live a little bit longer. So anyway, he entered into the Senate in the 1840s. Then he got into the politics of things. Then right before he was elected as president, his wife, who was his greatest supporter, she dies. So now he's like a single guy in this position of presidency. And I guess it was some radical Republicans, and I need to go a little bit deeper to find out what does it mean radical. Was it because they were fighting against the slavery of the South, and because as far as I know, no Republicans owned slaves, and they were against the South having ownership of slaves. So that was our first impeachment by a Republican Congress. Then let's go up to the age where we know in 1973, President Nixon, they started the inquiries of impeachment, and then in March of 1974, they went further into that impeachment inquiry, and as it went on, they were coming down to the articles, and it was pretty much the same things they're impeaching President Donald Trump about, obstruction and acts of treason, and it was a third one which I don't remember at this time. And President Nixon, even when he lost to President John F. Kennedy in the 60s, he always had this chip on his shoulder that people weren't respecting him, and he just had this like Rodney Dangerfield type of nobody respects me. My wife doesn't respect me. You guys don't respect me. I don't know if his wife did or not respect. I think she did respect him, but that the Rodney Dangerfield syndrome of nobody respects me, right? Which worked very well with Rodney Dangerfield. And so Nixon, Watergate, for those of you who weren't born during that time and don't, because of the dumbing down of the schools, you probably didn't study this in school, was the Republicans wanted to get some dirt on the Democrats. So he directed them to break into this office and get, look up some files and get some information on how to get some dirt on the Democrats. And at first he said he didn't, he had no part of it. This was something Haldeman and Verdeman, he had nothing to do with it. But then Nixon had a habit of recording all of his conversations. And so he released some of the tapes to the general population. And then he had some other tapes, and the smoking gun tape, he released that tape, and I guess a third of the Republicans were against him, a third of almost all of the Democrats were against him and wanted to impeach him. And then when he released the tape, the smoking gun tape, that's when he had a phone conversation with him, or just had a conversation with him, that was the nail in the coffin. And even his supporters said, hey, we can't support you anymore because this is a damning recording. Unlike when President Trump released the conversation that he had with the Ukrainian, it showed that there was no quid pro, there was no holding back funding for military equipment. If they didn't, investigate Biden and his son, there was none of this going on. And we have the manuscripts are up there where you can still read the manuscripts. But a lot of people, I don't know, maybe they can't read. Maybe a lot of Democrats are too lazy to read. And maybe even some of us Republicans are too lazy to read, but we already have our minds set that, hey, Donald Trump won by 63% of the vote, and the Democrats are just proven to be very sore losers. Okay, so you have Nixon, and some people said that maybe he could have fought through it, but after he released that tape, the Republicans said, hey, it's most likely that if they impeach you, they're going to win, and then you'll be put out of office that way, or it would just be on your record as successfully being impeached. So Nixon, it was August 9th of 1974, decided that he would leave office instead of having them impeach him and let President Ford, the vice president at the time, take over the presidency. And I remember watching that, and at the time, I was just a teenager. I was like maybe 14. I didn't really quite understand what was going on. I think I was 15 at the time, and I didn't quite understand what's going on. But because I lived in a Democratic household, for some reason, I thought it was a good thing that Nixon left. And for my naivety at the time, thought that, well, now Ford is there, and that should be better. But I didn't understand that Ford was the same part of the Republican Party, right? But because of the dumbing down at school, we were taught a lot of things. I mean, I love history, but some of the stuff they were teaching in history was not really the present, but they taught the past, but not really we didn't hear much about what this was doing as far as this impeachment was doing. I remember in school that the school I was going to was I think we were like, less than 1%, I think it was less than 1% black students in this school. And I remember that it was a very Republican school, and somewhat conservative Democrats school. Now, let me explain this to you. I was wondering why Democrats always kind of put it on conservatives, Republicans, that they're racist, Well, it's only because the Democrats, conservatives, were the ones that started up the Jim Crow laws, which caused a lot of the black water, you have black bathrooms, white drinking fountains, black drinking fountains, and they were responsible for a lot of the lynching, the conservative Democrats, which became the Dixiecrats, which was from the South, which this was never explained in school. So as I got older, understood this. So what they did was the Democrats said, okay, us conservatives, we want it to stay the same. We want slavery to come back. We want to be able to kill blacks with no retribution. We want them to stay as third-class citizens in the United States of America. The Republican says no, every man should be free, every man should have the right to pursue happiness, work, and be independent, right? So what they did was they put that jacket on the Republicans, right? And said that the conservative Republicans were like what they are, and try to flip it. And something about if you tell a lie long enough times, you'll start getting people to believe that lie. And Democrats were very successful. The conservative Democrats were very successful in changing the lie and flipping the script and making it seem like conservative Republicans were the racist ones rather than the conservative Democrat that were the ones that hated all diversity. All right. Now, if you just joined us and you're watching Intervision FM, my name is Johnny J, and you can listen to our radio shows on KUVO 92.9 on the FM dial every Friday at 6 p.m. where we're doing the top 20 countdown, and every Sunday at 9 a.m. on KUVO 92.9 on the FM dial. You can go to our website and sign up for our free newsletter and find out more about what we do. Go to intervisionrecords.org, intervisionrecords.org. If you have any comments you want to make, voicemail, you can do 720-324-7278. That's 720-324-7278. And you can email us as well, info@intervisionfm.com. Right? And we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1990, and we signed on as a nonprofit in December of 1994. Now, okay, let's continue this impeachment, since that was the main topic Wednesday, the 18th of December. So, they have 2 weak parts of this impeachment, so weak. Obstruction of the Senate, and that somehow he did some kind of like a bribery. Or, no, they switched it from bribery to something. They switched it so many times that it's hard to catch up with all the things that they switched it to get a favorable a nod from their Democratic left-wing members. So Nixon decided to, bow out, say, hey, I'm going to resign, and that's what they want Donald Trump to do now. They want him to say, hey, bow out. But this is what I predict. I hope, just like President Bush Sr. got his son, President Bush Sr. got his son. President Bush Jr. into the office. I hope that Donald Trump encourages kids to run in 2024. And just like the Republicans was able to get 2 family members into the White House, I hope that that can continue with because the economy is running good. Under the Obama legacy, we were only receiving about $300 per person increase in our income. with Donald Trump, it's 5,000 per person in like middle class to upper class and further up. The businesses are booming, and you can fact check me, and if I'm wrong, come back and say, hey Johnny, give me the link, show me, and I'll come back and I'll say, hey, I was wrong about this, I was wrong about that. But as far as I know now, that the economy is humming along because we have a businessman running it. And I understand that Republicans, they like to borrow money. Democrats, they like to tax people. And neither one of them want to balance the budget, which I think that's the biggest problem is now we have this roaring economy. Why not balance the budget, live within our means, and not overspend? Stop Republicans borrowing money, pay off your debt. Democrats, stop coming up with different social left-wing ideals that you want funded, and let's just cool the heels, because step by step, both parties are going to run America into the ground. Now let's get to the most interesting impeachment, and that was Mr. Lover, Bill Clinton. Now, Mr. Lover, Bill Clinton, he had a problem before he became president. While he was governor, he got this black lady pregnant. He was paying child support until Hillary Clinton said, enough. I know, you got this black lady pregnant. The boy looks a spinach image of like Bill Clinton. But she got tired of that money going out the door paying child support. And Bill was trying to do the right thing, but Hillary said, hey, I'm tired of this. We're going to cut this. So, you listen to Hillary, but that didn't stop his philanthropy as far as like his running around with other women. And during the debates, Donald Trump brought 4 of the women that Bill Clinton had affairs with that no one would listen to, because Hillary Clinton smirched them and said that these are just sluts and whores, and she said every kind of bad things about these ladies. But they had the evidence. He had them sitting in the front row at one of the debates, and you could see Bill Clinton just looking the other way, pretending that they weren't there. Right? And that was very interesting. But so Bill Clinton has had a history of just, who knows, maybe they have an arrangement where they're a power couple or what, I don't know what, like she's a lawyer, he's a lawyer, but he got disbarred because he got impeached, and we'll get to that part. And they would just, they said together we could be a powerful force together. So, okay, Bill, you want to play around with other women? Okay, you can do that. And some people said allegedly Hillary Clinton realized that she's a lesbian, and so she lives her lesbian lifestyle, and Bill Clinton lives his other lifestyle. Allegedly, that's the rumors that's out there. Who knows? We'll see. So anyway, Bill Clinton, 23-year-old Monica Lewinsky, I think she was about 4 years older than his daughter, came to the White House, and she was enamored with the power and all that kind of stuff, and somehow this went to having an affair, and the blue dress that had these stains of Bill Clinton's sperm on it, that was the evidence that she kept, right? That with the DNA testing that proved that, oh yeah, that's Bill. How did your sperm get in that blue dress, Bill? It just didn't fly there. How did it get there? So Bill Clinton's problem was that when they impeached him, he says, I did not have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I need to get back to being the president and get back to work and for the American people. And he could have just said, hey, I've been this way for a long time. I cheated on my wife. That's who I am. We have not divorced. That's just an agreement that we have between me and her. But instead of being honest and just saying, this is who I am, he said, what is your definition of oral sex? And it's like, what do you mean? What is our definition? Oral sex is oral sex. Did you have oral sex with Monica Lewinsky? And he says, it's just me. It's just the, and I could see at the time, and I could just see him squinting his eyes, because when Bill Clinton lies, he gets this crunched up look in his face. And you could really, he's not a good, when he's uncomfortably made to tell the truth, he gets this like weird look on his face. And at the time, I had enough sight that I could get close enough to the TV to look at, because the cameras brought, real close up on him and stuff like that. And it was like real drama, like really interesting drama in the late 90s with Bill Clinton. But they elected him again. They didn't, the Republicans didn't get him out of office. They found that he did lie, he did perjure himself on the thing. And afterwards, he told the truth. He said, hey, I did do something stupid. And I was surprised that he would do interviews where he would address that and say, hey, I did, that was stupid of me to do. And I don't know why they ran after and tried to wreck Monica Lewinsky's life, because, it takes two to tango. And she's just a 23-year-old lady. Yes, maybe she should have known better, whatever. But Bill Clinton, he had plenty of practice at seducing women, older women, younger women, and I don't know why they just went after her like that, like crazy, trying to wreck her life, when it was Bill Clinton, the president, who had power. It was in a position of power, and he gets away clean, and she, well, fairly clean, and they try to wreck her life, right? So anyway, so now let's get to President Trump. So, of course, because the left-wing news media and the Hollywood left-wing, they were so convinced that Hillary Clinton was going to be our first woman president, just like Obama was going to be our first black president. They were just banking on it, but they didn't know that because of what President Obama did with sending a lot of our jobs out of our country, leaving a lot of the people that voted for him left in the dry, kids getting on drugs because they have no jobs, experiencing probably the same thing that poor blacks were experiencing in America, which when it was happening to black people, America said, just say no. So now, a lot of black people just saying to white people what they said to us, just say no, right? Which is kind of like a sarcastic get back dig. They said, well, we trusted that this Obama will fundamentally change the United States of America, which that was his big thing. And then he lied about his Obamacare, saying every family is going to save, they're going to be saving $2,500. Total lie. And when the American people realized that, they said, no, we're not going to go that direction. And they said they liked what Donald Trump was saying. It was resonating with them. And so then they said, we want Donald Trump. And they just kept it quiet. So all these, I'm almost out of time. I got 28 minutes. You know where I'm going. They're going to do the votes for the impeachment. They probably already have done it when you watch this. But they're not going to get him out of office with this impeachment sham. You could take my word. And I pray that his son, one of his sons, will run for president and be the next second president to be in one family. Anyway, you're watching Innovation FM. This is Johnny J for Innovation FM, and that's my impeachment wrap for Innovation FM. See you the next time. God bless.